Jiu Jitsu nerds, I am being joined by the bastard himself. I guess technically it's not the bastard yet. We're going to see the bastard come out November 2nd when he's making his showing at Polaris 30. But right now, he's on this sick Jiu Jitsu Europe tour. You've been to Italy, now you're in Poland, then you're going to the Netherlands and Germany, Switzerland, really living the Jiu Jitsu nomad life. So, how's that life going for you?
I mean, it's pretty good, a little bit stressful. It's kind of awkward keeping a training schedule while moving cities every 4 or 5 days. But I'm really enjoying myself. I'm having a good time and meeting all sorts of cool people.
And here with us now is Kieran Kichuk. And you have been a nomad in terms of you were actually in Canada for a very long time, getting the basis of your grappling journey. And then you would go to Washington, D.C. I grew up in Virginia, so I'm kind of familiar with where you were at there, but then decided that you want to really focus and be surrounded by Nogi, your Nogi family, and picked BTeam of all places. So why was it BTeam that you decided that this was the spot for you?
Yeah, I trained around a little bit, and I just like the environment at B Team. Like my whole jiu-jitsu career, at least for the last like 7, 8 years, a lot of my development's been independent, and I think B Team had a really good environment for independent growth, and it's more like a collective than a team, right? You can spitball ideas off of each other. Um, you can practice things on other high level athletes, and there's a lot of room for, you know, freedom in your career. You can kind of do whatever you want while training at the B team. You can put out whatever instructionals you want to do. You can do whatever you want on social media. Nothing was really off limits. And not to mention that I just had good connections there. Like I was friends with Damien and Ethan before I made the switch. I was a big fan of Craig, and Craig's got like a similar style to me, so I thought I could do some learning from him. But all these things factored into the decision.
I think it's so cool that Craig is someone that you kind of looked up to in terms of his style, and then now you get to spend 8 a.m.s with him. Well, I guess not in this very moment because both of you guys are traveling, but that's a fun way to start your day, 8 a.m. with Craig Jones. And he was even someone that looked to you for the way that you were attacking the false reap game. I think you came up with a little bit of an instructional on that. So, what is your I guess spin on, I guess you don't have to explain it, but like why was your spin on the false reap something that you have focused on and now are leveraging in that particular aspect in your own game?
Well, at first, when I made the transition over to no-gi, I like I came from the gi, so I was really a big fan of like connecting to opponents, and people were doing a whole lot of backing away and like thumb posting on me and just trying to like prevent any kind of like prolonged connection. And the false reap is one of the very few leg locks that you can enter on an opponent who has backward momentum. So I was finding that a lot of matches were I was having difficulties building up to submissions because people were constantly moving backwards and moving away from me. And I watched Diego Pato do it. He does it pretty differently than I do it, but I found a way to kind of attack the lead leg while the opponent's moving their way onto the rear leg. So it just kind of filled a gap in my game, and at the very least forced people to actually work back into me so I can actually build meaningful connections to the upper body or to more traditional leg lock entries.
And you once said that your favorite submission is the triangle choke, but that was a few years ago now. So has your game evolved in the sense where you have a different favorite, or what is your, favorite submission that you have?
I think depending on what you mean by favorite, like the one that I feel I'm the best at is definitely the triangle. It's the first thing that I did like 10,000 reps on when I was like a blue belt, purple belt, and I have a bunch of entries I still hit to this day. I never have to practice anymore. I've got them kind of like memorized. My body just hits them automatically. But if I could only have one submission going forward, it would definitely have to be a rear naked choke because like the essence of jiu-jitsu is positional dominance before submission, and I think it's the most dominant submission there is. So it's my I've got two favorites definitely, like triangle and rear naked.
And now looking ahead to the November 2nd match we have, which isn't even that far ahead at this point. I mean, time is going by so fast. You're getting all these competitions in, but Polaris is going to be against Carson Coles, who's a guy on the rise. He's representing Hajar Gracie Jiu Jitsu. So, and I saw some of his highlights getting some nice foot sweeps and some wrestling exchanges. So what are you anticipating for this matchup against Carson Coles?
So I don't know too much about Carson. I've started doing a little research over the past few days. I don't like to obsess over my opponents too far out. I kind of wait till a week and a half out. But he's definitely like an energetic young kid. He's got a lot of cardio and he's going to push the pace. So I'm anticipating that uh, he's probably going to try to get on top. He's gonna use his wrestling or wrestle up and play the top position, but he's going to be using outside passing, going over my shoulders, looking for opportunities to kind of bowl my legs over and force me to my knees and expose the back. Um, yeah, he's probably going to be using a lot of attrition tactics, just coming at me with very loose pass attempts. He might not even try to secure them right off the bat, but again, he's looking for me to turn away, looking for opportunities to bowl me over or put my toes on the floor. So I'm expecting a high paced match. I'm expecting to suffer for the 10 minutes that I'm in there, but I'm also expecting that I'll take the W. I'll be able to catch a submission, or I'll be able to take his back off one of the exchanges when he does actually engage and look to go in for the kill off of the pass.
And he's coming off of a big performance at Polaris 29. So now returning just an event later. And people in the comments were like, he needs a big name next. And the name that they got him, a big name, a burgeoning star on the rise, is yourself. So does that put a little bit of pressure on you to be like, okay, they're trying to level up. They're trying to build their own stars in the UK. So they're putting them up against you to see where he kind of levels up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel any additional pressure, like the way I look at it, if someone is able to beat me, my stock doesn't go down, their stock just goes up. But absolutely, it's going to be an advantage for Carson because I don't want to sound arrogant, but like the expectation is not that he's going to be able to get the job done, right? He's kind of the underdog, and there's going to be no pressure on him, and he can perform however he wants to perform without kind of feeling that nervousness. Um, but as for me, like I don't let the pressure get to me. I get nervous every time, regardless of who I'm competing against. It could be a blue belt, it could be a black belt world champion. I'm gonna get nervous either way. So to me, it makes no difference who I'm grappling. I'm just happy to be out there grappling, um, and getting an opportunity to add another highlight reel
Yeah, I like your daily affirmation. I forget how exactly it goes, but your life is beautiful and you're
and
grateful for
enjoy
what you
every
do.
moment.
I love that. I love how that's something that you do before every day, but then also when it comes to competition, when it just comes to Polaris in particular and the super fight rules that they have, what do you think about their particular scoring system in contrast to like the ADCCs, PGFs, and different rule sets?
So lucky me, I just read the rules like 10 minutes ago. Um, For me, it doesn't really matter. I mean, it does to an extent what the rule set is, but I'm always just trying to showcase good jujitsu. And good jujitsu is either catching a submission or getting on top, dominating the hips, getting to a dominant position, and then working out from the center line and exposing the limb or the neck. For me, it's as simple as that. No matter what the rule set is, I'm going to try and finish you. I'm going to try and dominate you. But the rule set is scored the way I understand it is 1 point for any progressive action. So be it takedown, be it a guard pass, a sweep, mount, back, everything is worth 1 point. And I'm not sure of this, but I don't think that the points are made available for the athletes to see during the match. Um,
I don't think so, because I think there's been a lot of decisions that people have been like, what? And it's kind of like a shock at the end.
Yeah, and I do believe that it's also scored in thirds. So it'll be like 3 minutes and 33 seconds are going to be your rounds, but there's no breaks between the rounds. So I think that the score sort of like resets every third. So if I were to maybe dominate the first third, like take his back or mount him, pass his guard, accumulate a bunch of points, even if he was able to accumulate only a single point more than me in the next two periods, the win would still go to him. That's my understanding of the rules and why people might think some decisions have been controversial in the past.
Okay, so this is going to be your debut with Polaris. What is the kind of statement that you're looking to make with your debut with Polaris?
I always want to show everybody the grappling that I'm capable of, and in this case, the only difference is that I'm delivering it to a European audience, right? I'm not really a well-known guy out here, and I want to change that with this match because Um, I love to travel. I love these opportunities that I'm getting to go and teach, and I want to expand those and build my career off of those. So I'm trying to make my name and stamp my jiu-jitsu on the European jiu-jitsu scene.
I love that for you. And I remember a little bit earlier in the year, I thought that I was going to get to interview you for PGF. What happened with PGF last season? And then why weren't you able to compete in that?
Well, I'm short a few ligaments now. I got injured at the West Coast trials, and I just couldn't recover in time in a way that I think I could have performed well on the PGF. So I think I would have done myself a disservice, and I would have done the fans a disservice to go into that in the condition that I was in, even though I was so excited about how they set that up. Because, you know, flukes won't take you too far in the PGF. It's round robin at the beginning. You're going to grapple with everybody. If you're bad, you're going to get exposed. If you have holes, you're going to get exposed. So I think it's kind of interesting, that rule set, because like the best grappler for the most part is probably going to win. So I was really upset that I couldn't do that, but like I said, I wasn't in a condition where I could have performed well.
Well, there's going to be plenty more PGFs, and I know you have big goals when it comes to world titles. So I'm curious now, though, because I don't know if you've ever talked about this topic, or if you don't want to, that's fine as well. But I know that with the situation with ADCC and you getting banned, are you still banned for life from ADCC? Because I know that was one of your goals for a while there.
Yeah, I'd rather not discuss this topic right now, just because it's ongoing. So
Uh,
yeah, it's up in the air right now.
Okay. Well, I'm hope to hear of better things ever since Mo stepped down and everything. And I know, yeah, the situation was just crazy that they would do that. So I cannot wait to see you back there, because I feel like that would be a very, very interesting thing. But in the meantime, you're going on tour in Europe. You're getting big matches for platforms like Polaris. Um, when it comes to the style that you have, I know you mentioned that you looked up to Craig because he doesn't really wrestle as much, and you like to kind of have that kind of game. So, is there anything in particular that you feel like makes that style of yours extra exciting? Because sometimes people associate butt scooting with like a boring game, but how do you make it exciting for the fans?
For sure, and it's a hard sell, to try to tell someone that scooting on your butt is cool. But the way that the way that I grapple is I don't stop. I'm constantly hand fighting. I'm constantly working in both directions. So I will wrestle up, and I will play top position, as well as I'll try to pull people's hands to the floor over my head and enter the legs. So I'm constantly attacking, even though I'm conceding bottom position. I make sure that I'm not just latching on to someone and trying to ride out the time, because with my style, I feel like there's an increased burden on myself to be exciting, right? You don't, I want to be someone that people want to watch, and I feel that I am someone that people want to watch because of my submission oriented style and the mindset that I take into grappling. Like I'm always trying to have a dominant performance, and I'm always trying to push the pace.
And you're not scared of a fight as well, because you've done combat jujitsu, which I know isn't technically what you would probably define as a fight, but you got in there, you threw some slaps. So what was that experience like doing combat jujitsu?
It's really fun when you win, but not so much when you lose or go to draw. But
Hmm.
I think if I had the opportunity again, I would probably do it at 155. I did have the opportunity, but they're also running a standard EBI at 170, and I feel like for my career, like I'm a grappler. I'm not really a fighter, so I felt that I would be the EBI was more suited to me. But if there was another opportunity where they ran a 155 tournament and they weren't doing the EBI simultaneously, I would definitely get back in there.
I love that. Yeah, the slaps definitely make it very, very fun. And then you get to travel to Mexico. So it's like, a win-win, vacation and competition.
Yeah, and when you're not doing combat jiu-jitsu, you get to enjoy your time on the beach without a concussion, which is an added benefit.
Yes, 100%. When you're traveling around right now, do you miss your B team brothers?
Oh, for sure. But I see them around. Like, I just did the Euros, so JB was there, Corbin was there. A lot of my close friends from the B team met me in Rome, and I'm going out to the UK this week. A couple more of the guys, Ben Hodge is going to be out there. I think a couple others may be as well. So I kind of see them as I'm traveling around. I'm going to see Ethan and Damien in Mexico pretty soon. So even though I haven't been around at the B team in the last 2, 3 months. I still see the boys. I still keep communications going with them, so it's not too bad.
Yet it definitely seems like you guys have an awesome relationship. I know they've had you on the Simple Man podcasts a lot of times, and your personalities just click. I mean, is that a big reason why B Team was such a big like a good choice for you because of like the environment and the energy that they have?
Yeah, for sure. And they are just genuinely good guys, and they can act like dopes on their podcasts, and they're funny, and no one bats an eye. No one really cares because yeah, that's just part of the public image of the team, right? It's just being genuine and being ourselves.
What did you think of that most recent demotion of Sal?
Oh no. What do I think of that? I think they should just give Sal his brown belt after that. They took his ankle away. Come on, we got to do it for Sal's grandfather. He wants to see him have that brown belt so bad.
Oh my gosh, what a series of events. That was just amazing. The stuff that you guys are able to catch on camera. I mean, Freddie just really elevates the content of the B Team channel. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Freddie's a wizard, and yeah, he's always there when he needs to be. He's catching the right moments at the right time. Yeah, he does a great job,
So what
and
were
so
you
does
doing
Tony.
CJI versus ADCC weekend? Where were you at?
I was actually back home with my family and my friends in Toronto, Canada. I was tuning in a little bit for certain ADCC matches. There were certain matchups, like specifically with my teammates, that I wanted to support and watch, but the production quality and everything about CJI was just far superior, so I was glued to the screen.
I love that. And when all the drama was happening with CJI versus ADCC, what was your perception of everything since you know people within the community and you were just like, Rotolos are getting announced, tackets are getting announced. Like, what was your initial reaction to all that news?
I mean, I was really hoping that Seth and Craig could deliver with all the smack they were talking and all the promises they were making. So I was excited to see how it was going to turn out, and I was really hopeful that they could make it happen. Uh, and they ended up like surpassing my expectations. They delivered all that and more.
I think they surpassed a lot of people's expectations, even people who were internally involved. Like, we just did not know what was going to happen. When you think about platforms that you have yet to compete on, which one do you think is like a big goal, like a platform that you want to showcase your skills on?
So at this point, CJI would be number one, just because that looked like electric. Every match was amazing. Pretty much every match was amazing. The crowd was receiving the action really well. But yeah, CJI, ADCC, I would say Polaris, but I'm getting my wish next week. But just these major promotions that, and I know CJI is new, but these major promotions that I've been coming up and watching all my favorite grapplers on, I want to be able to get on any one of them.
Can you share some of your favorite grapplers that you like to watch? Because I know you were a big fan of GSP, but I don't know if there's any particular grappler that you're like, this is one of my favorite guys to watch or emulate or anything like that.
Well, when I was younger, I would say that Rafa Mendez and Cobrinha, they were kind of my idols because I was a gi athlete for 12 years of my career. And, there's a good argument that Rafa's one of the greatest ever in the gi, and same with Cobrinha. But right now, in terms of athletes I love to watch, I really like to watch both of the Tackets. I'm a huge fan of both of those guys. They're dogs, and they fight hard and they scrap and they take risks that they don't necessarily have to. And the same goes for the Rotolo brothers, like especially Ty when um, he could have sat to his butt and probably gotten to Nolf's legs a lot sooner in the match, but he chose to butt heads with Nolf where he is one of the best in the world. So these guys are willing to take risks that are completely unnecessary from a tactical standpoint, but for the fans and for the people watching, it's a huge win. So I really like both the Rotolo brothers and the Tackett's. They're probably my favorite athletes on the scene right now.
I love that. Well, Kieran, if you have any sponsors or teammates or any projects that you're working on that you want to let the audience know about, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so for my gear sponsor, I'm sponsored by Flawless Kimonos. So if you're interested in getting some of the kits that I've been wearing at the recent tournaments, you can go to their website. You can use coupon code Kieran15 to get 15% off. As well, I'm running a Patreon now, so it's patreon.com/lock and strangle. I'm putting weekly uploads for the lowest tier, right? So you'll get probably between 8 and 15 minutes of content a week. And the upper tiers, I post all my seminars. I post some narrated rounds and narrated rolls that I do both at the BTeam and at my training facility in Canada. Uh, yeah, you can check that out if you want to learn from me and if you want to see what I'm up to. And then I just also like to thank the team that supports me in Canada, Action Reaction MMA.